Hi, Patrick here at Instant Customer TV, and welcome to another episode. Today we are going to talk to Andrew Richardson, who is a depression recovery expert. So welcome, Andrew.
Welcome to you. Very nice to see you again, Patrick.
Yeah, you too, Andrew. I think maybe how we could start out is just an explanation about what is depression.
Well, you know, people talk a lot about depression, but they don't really know what it is. I would put it this way: it's a state of mental and emotional exhaustion. It's a mind that can work no longer. It's a mind full of thoughts, full of rumination, full of worries, and none of it works, and so that creates a terror, and that creates a vicious circle where it can only get worse, where whatever you do, nothing works, and so you are really at the end of your tether, and your mind is exhausted. It's a terrifying thing to experience. There's no debate about that. But that, I would say, is the best way of seeing it.
Okay, great. That was brief and succinct, and I think people like that because you can have a long explanation, but having something succinct is great, and the way you explained it as well. So I think people might wondering, what is a depression recovery expert?
Well, a depression recovery expert, first of all, is somebody who knows what a depression is and can explain it in simple terms so that the person listening to it makes sense to them. And so that person realizes that they're not going mad, and they do think they're going mad, and often you'll go to some people who will tell you that you're mentally ill, and if you're not going mad, and if you realize that there's a way through, then what happens is hope begins to return. And then once hope begins to return, the next step is to reduce arousal, it's to reduce stress, and it's to reduce tension. And there's lots of ways of doing that. And there's lots of firefighting work that I will do with people. I will also use hypnosis and trance and deep relaxation. And then the third stage of recovery is to begin to deal with all the issues, all the questions that probably caused the problem in the first place. Because depressions just don't happen in isolation. And there will be things that happened in people's lives around their work, around their relationships, around loss, around bereavement, around anger and shame that have pushed them that way. And their ways of coping with that just aren't working. And so that has to be dealt with. But you don't do that in the first session. The first session is about making it clear what's going on, so people have hope. And once they have hope and they can begin to deal with their problems, and I can help them with this in all kinds of ways, then they're on the road to recovery. And so you're patient with the cause of the problem, and you wait until that person is ready to deal with it. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Really good, really good. And I also liked how you explained the different phases, so I think a lot of people will relate to that. So that's fantastic. I think that's good. I have a question. What can people expect to get out of a process like that? What is it? Maybe you already explained that a little bit, but maybe we can go through a little bit more here. But what can they expect out of going through a process with a depression recovery expert like yourself?
First thing is they get a sense of hope. They get a sense that they're not going mad, and they can see that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And the second thing they get is real practical help that they can trust, that will kind of take what they need to bring themselves down so they can calm themselves. And then the third thing, it's a kind of partnership between me and the client who comes to see me, so we can get their life back on track. And often, by that stage, the person knows what to do because they're calm and they have good memories and they know what to do. But sometimes they need extra help, and then I can help them. So that's the first thing: hope, help with firefighting, and then a partnership between the two of us to get your life working again. Yeah.
Great. Okay, good. So what are some things? What are some things that people can think about or maybe consider when they're going to approach someone about their depression? Like they're watching this, they want some help, they want to get some results, and they might even start to feel some hope now from this segment. But what are some things, 2 or 3 things they can think about when they approach someone to make sure that they're making the right decision for themselves to get the results that they want?
Well, they have to be sure that the person who they're taking advice from or they're going to see has a sense that they really know what they're doing. And of course, often the GPs, the NHS, and even many counsellors, they don't know. And they think that just by talking about your problem or by fixing it with chemical help with the antidepressants is the answer. I'm afraid that's not the answer. I am trained in something called human givens. The human givens approach is essentially the teaching about what a depression is that I use and the tools that I've been taught. And I think people should just hear that term, human givens. It's quite new. It's about 15 years old, entirely in the United Kingdom. But even in that time, it is being recognized and being used in the National Health Service. Already there is hard, proven evidence in peer-reviewed studies, respectable psychological journals, which shows that human givens therapists do a better job than the NHS. And so, I'm a big fan of the human givens because I know it works. I know it makes sense, and I know it works. And I know it works because I help so many people and have done so for so many years. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, yes. So so they need to make sure that the people or the person that they're approaching has a deep understanding of what depression is, not just, if I understand correctly, not just maybe an imbalance in the brain or getting medication to deal with it, but get a real deeper understanding to deal with the cause instead of maybe what the pills and tablets do, which is just treating the symptom but not working on the cause level. Is that correct?
Yeah, and it's worth saying that because if you go to the NHS, you will be almost, and they want to give you some therapy, they'll send you to a cognitive behavioral therapist, CBT. And cognitive behavioral therapy works by challenging your thoughts. But actually what we understand, human givens, is that it's the feelings that come first. It's the exhaustion caused by dreaming too much. I don't want to go into too much detail because it's all on my website. But if you're challenging thoughts, it's just not the right thing to challenge because the feelings and the exhaustion come way before the thoughts. And if you're exhausted, then how can you deal with a thought that you know is crazy? And I think that is one of the reasons why people are very disappointed with cognitive behavioral therapy, and why there is now evidence that the whole NHS program to use CBT, it's called IAPT, which is the Access to Psychological Therapies program. There is now some research done on it which shows that it is incredibly ineffective. And I have to say I'm not surprised.
Yeah, well, I think it's good for people to know that, and maybe some people even who are watching this have been to NHS and tried different other approaches. I think it's great that you're sharing this information, and I know that you, Andrew, you have had quite a great success rate with your work. I mean, it's 85% of clients that come to you are getting positive results and are experiencing a new life. So what is your approach? How do you go about helping someone who's in depression to get to that stage with success?
Well, the first thing I do is I explain what's going on, and I take pressure off my clients by telling them that they don't have to go into all kinds of detail at that first session, because their mind is already all over the place, and the last thing they need to do is to rehearse it. And I kind of use my authority to allow them to let go a little bit. And I think that's really important. And then they realize they're not going mad, and they realize that I know what I'm doing, and then they can begin to get hope. And I think my track record helps in this, because you talked about this 85% of my clients feel better in a handful of sessions. And this is actually, though I say it myself, quite an unusual and quite a stunning track record. And of course that gives them hope, and it gives them encouragement and confidence. It also gives it to me. Because if I know that most of my clients will get better, and it's hard evidence. I mean, I don't just make up it that they're getting better. All my clients fill in a little form at every session, just 10 questions. It takes them a couple of minutes, and so they know how they've done in the previous week. So we all know that they're getting better. And if for some reason they don't get better, or that there's no progress, then we do something else, because this isn't a miracle cure. And I'm not pretending that I can wave a magic wand and everybody gets better. But I'm saying that I know what I'm doing, I have proof that what I do works, and most of the clients who come to see me will feel much better or fully recovered within a handful of sessions.
Wow.
What can I say?
I mean, that's fantastic. That's really good. And I think people watching this, I can feel it, and they probably feel it too, that there's a sense of hope, and working with you is someone who has a lot of experience. And I know from talking with you that you've helped hundreds and hundreds of people, and so I think it's great. And you being so genuine and transparent, I think is also very refreshing. So having all of that in mind, I know there's people watching this who want to contact you, who want to get your help. What is something you could say to them now that might be something special, or whatever you want to say to them, the people who want to contact you?
Well, if you contact me, we can speak on the phone and we can talk by email. You can come and see me face to face. I work in East London, or we can do Skype sessions. I will only charge for that first session if it was of value to you. So if you want to just see, and if you feel at the end that I can't help you, then I won't charge for it. If it was of value and you want to carry on, then I will charge for it, because I may only see you 3 or 4 times. And I have a living to earn, and I know I can help people. But even then, I will make concessions. I'm not, I want to help as many people as I can. So if you find that the fee, my normal session fee is too much for you, then we will agree a fee that you are comfortable with. I have no problem with that at all.
Great. I think that's great. It's a great guarantee, and I think it's also a testament to what you're about, that you go out there and people can come to you, they can have their first session, they can have the positive experience, but if for whatever reason they feel like they didn't have a positive experience, you don't charge them for that session. I think that's fantastic. And also, I think that you're giving concession to the people who might not, might be in a rough spot somehow, and helping them out. I think that just shows that you care and that you want to make a difference in people's lives, and so that's very refreshing to see. And people who want to contact you, if you're out there watching this right now and you want to contact Andrew, you can do so using the details below here. You can go to his website. He has extensive materials there around depression that you can read about, that will help you to feel better. And also, if you want to contact Andrew and talk to him, you can call the number below as well, and you can do that now. And I think that's it. Is there any final words you want to say, Andrew, before we finish off this segment?
Well, I want to thank you, Patrick, for allowing me to express what is, you can see, quite passionately felt. And it's a great pleasure and it's a great privilege to actually be able to help so many people and to see lives transformed. And thank you for giving me that opportunity, for extending my reach, for going to more and more people who hopefully can come to me.
And thank you, Andrew, for being here and sharing your passion, your vision of wanting to help more people, and also that you have the experience and the track record. So I encourage you who are watching this and you're in this situation to contact Andrew. Use the details below here. Go to his website, read more about his materials, contact him on the phone, and get yourself to a new positive life. And you have that opportunity to do that right now. Okay, so thank you all for watching. Thank you, Andrew, and I'll see you all in the next segment.
Okay, bye.